Rupa Goswami. Without seeking the blessings of the Shad Goswamis, we cannot enter into the book of the nectar of devotion, the nectar of instruction. So, would you like to please screen share the Shad Goswami Ashtakam? Yeah, thank you. Krishna Premamritambolidhi Vinayadhirana Priyakaram Vimatkaram Pujitam Sri Sri Samya Kripabhayo Pudituro Aravataram Vande Upasaya Pranamudaguyudam Shri Jiva Gopalatam Namaste Vinayakam Pratyayma Samstapakam Lokanampitakari Tribhuvane Manyaucharanyakaram Radha Krishna Parayana Bhajaram Vande Namaskaram Vande Guru Shri Jiva Gopalatam Shri Gauranga Vedhatam Vitam Govindaranam Vitai Amurantam Vivaitanai Kanikunam Kaivalyanim Taratam Vande Asanatan Sagurudam Jiva Gopalatam Seshamandalapati Vinim Saradu Shara Rupadina Kanishakau Karunaya Kautina Kanhashvito Gopi Bhavakrasa Vita Silahari Kallola Manlo Vande Mukasaya Jiva Gopalatam Puja Kuntiram Satadasadanam Vime Makule Nandayatnamivatamudavitapam Niyukta Vrindavanam Radha Krishna Maharitam Prabhajatam Nivakaram Yoginam Vande सनातनं प्रभुयुगम् श्रीजीवगोपालकौ संख्यापूर्वकनामकरणतिभिः कालावसाने विभूति नित्याहारतिहारतास्तिविजितौ जात्यन्तरिणौ त्रयो राधा कृष्णकुलस्थिते मधुरिमम् नन्देन तं मोहितम् वन्दे सनातनप्रभुयुगम् श्रीजीवगोपालकौ राधाकृष्णतटे कलितटलया श्रीरेखमं सेवते प्रेमोल्लासरसया रस्तौ भ्रमस्तौ सदा सायं तं च सदा हरिपुरवरम् आवाभिमुक्तौ वन्दे सनातनं प्रभुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ हे राधिके हे नन्दसूनो श्रीगोवर्धनकल्पकास्तपकरे कालिन्दी वन्दे पुरा घोषं प्रचपुरे वेदैर्महाभीष्मरो वन्दे सनातनप्रभुयुगम् श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे सनातनप्रभुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे सनातनप्रभुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ. So we're offering our respectful obeisances to the Srila Goswami Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Radhasa Goswami, Srila Radhabhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopalabhatta Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada's instruction is that we follow in the footsteps of the Srila Goswami Acharya. And since we are beginning our book, The Nectar of Instructions, we are offering these prayers under the lotus feet of Srila Goswamis and seek their mercy upon us to enter into the mood of the book and truly be blessed by the ocean of mercy that they are ready to give us. So we will begin our session with our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurohu Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Nirupam Sakrajatam Sagaram Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanastam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padha Sahagananta Shri Vishakhanutascha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shundravani Paschatya Veshatalini Vanchakalpataribhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam Bhavaneभ्यो Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapani Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'm glad to be back with all of you again. So it's been quite a long break after our Bhagavad Gita. So this is technically the Bhakti Shastri classes. So all of you who would want to enroll yourself as a part of Bhakti Shastri, I mean, as such, this class is open for all. But if you technically want to be a Bhakti Shastri student, wherein at the end of the 4 books, you will receive formal certificate from ISKCON that you have completed Bhakti Shastri, then you need to enroll yourself for that. Okay, so for that enrollment, like for those of you who have completed Bhagavad Gita, you have already completed 1 book. If you have not completed the Gita, you can start with Nectar of Instruction, that is today's session being the first one as a first book, and will continue. For further details, you can just post your queries in the group and I can guide you on that. So the book that we are starting right now is The Nectar of Instruction, or Upadeshamrita. So this book is written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So what are the books that we come across as a part of Bhakti Shastri? Yeah, they are the Bhagavad Gita, the Upadeshamrita, Sri Isopanishad, and the Nectar of Devotion, or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So what is the speciality of these books? Basically, these books are classified in different types. There is something called the sadhana and something called the sadhya. Okay. So what is sadhya? What is sadhya? Sadhya means the goal. So what is the goal? What is the goal of all the Vedic literature? What's the goal of all Vedic literature? Yes. Can somebody recall what we have studied in the Gita?
Krishna is supreme personality of God.
Yes, the goal of this all the Vedic literature is to know Krishna. Vedascha sarve ahameva vedi. Yeah. So that is the sadhya. Sadhya is the goal. The goal is Krishna. And what is sadhana? Sadhana is the process. So of the 4 books, the Bhagavad Gita and the Sri Isopanishad, these 2 books deal mainly with the sadhana. Yeah. I mean, sorry, these 2 books deal with the sadhya, the goal. That is Lord Krishna himself. And the 2 books, Nectar of Instruction and the Nectar of Devotion, these 2 books deal majorly with the sadhana. That is the process to attain the goal. Yeah. They are process focused. So, as such, like if you see in the Gita, there is a lot of analysis that is given. Yeah, the different parts, like the Karma Yoga, the Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all the processes are analyzed, and the supremacy of Bhakti is established in the Gita as a conclusion, right? So, in the 12th chapter, Krishna declares the supremacy of Bhakti. Yeah. In the 9th chapter, very confidential knowledge, the Raja Vidya, Raja Rupya, yeah, the ultimate knowledge Krishna gives, imparts to Arjuna and declares Bhakti to be supreme. In the 6th chapter, the last verse, Yoginam api sarvesham yad gatirantaraatmana shraddhavan bhajate yoham Te me tapata tamomana. Yeah. So the one of all the yogis of Arjuna, one who with undivided attention, yeah, Shraddhavan, Bhajate Yoma, with faith worship me. He is the best of the yogi. Krishna declares this in the 6th chapter of the Gita. So bhakti as the supreme process is declared in Gita. But as such, how this process is to be followed is given in the nectar of instruction. So, that's, and even if you see in the Isopanishad, it begins with the universal principles of the absolute truth, and it progresses, and the last few mantras deal exclusively with the prayers. Yeah, it points to bhakti or devotion. It points to Bhagavan and bhakti. Yeah, Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapitam Mukham. Yeah, wherein the devotee prays to the Lord that, oh my dear Lord, please remove the effulgence and show yourself. Yeah, and he or the devotee also prays to the Supreme Lord to please remember my good deeds. Yeah, Kritosmara, Kritamsmara, Kritosmara, Kritamsmara. So there's a very, very beautiful devotional prayers. Yeah, the last few mantras of Isopanishad. So these two books, they highlight on Sadhya, that is the Supreme Lord Krishna as the supreme goal of life. And they just point to bhakti as the process to attain. So how this process has to be executed. So this is given in the nectar of instruction or nectar of devotion. So, basically, in the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, how we're going to read this book is, the primary focus is going to be on the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. And then we will take some references from the commentaries of various acharyas. Okay. So you may take down some notes as I'm talking to you. So there are 7 key themes of nectar of instruction. Yeah, there are 7 key themes. What are the 7 key themes of nectar of instruction, the book? The first key theme is mind and sense control. Yeah, the very first theme that nectar of instruction as a book is going to deal with is mind and sense control. So second is the attitude. The third is ISKCON's purpose that is elaborately described in many portions in the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. The first is mind and sense control. The second is the attitude. Third is ISKCON's purpose. Fourth is about guru and disciple. Yeah, the relationship. Then fifth is about sadhu sangha. Yeah, that is the association, the dynamics of association of devotees. Yeah, and the sixth is about devotees. Yeah, bhaktas, that is the different types of devotees, the different qualifications, etc. And the seventh and the final theme of the nectar of instruction after the bhaktas is bhakti as such. Yeah, so these are the 7 themes that nectar of instruction deals with. The first theme being mind and sense control. The second is about the attitude. Third is about the purpose of ISKCON. Fourth is about the guru and disciple relationship. Fifth is about sadhu sangha, that is the dynamics of association. Sixth, about bhakta, that is the qualifications of the devotee and the types of devotees, etc. And seventh is about bhakti, yeah, pure devotional service. So these are the 7 key themes of the entire book, Nectar of Instruction. So there are how many verses are there in this book? Any idea? Anybody knows? It's a very small book. Yes, 11. 11 very, very sweet verses. But they're so profound, so deep. If we can practice one verse perfectly, we have perfected our life. Yeah. So interestingly, these 11 verses are very nicely categorized as per the stages of. Okay, so what are the 9 stages of bhakti? We have learned this many a times, right? So it starts with Ado Shraddha, yeah, Tatha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya, yeah. Then after Bhajana Kriya comes Anartha Nivritti, then Nishtha. After Nishtha comes Ruchi, then Asakti, then Bhava and Prema. These are the 9 stages of bhakti. So these 11 verses shed light on each of these stages. The first 3 verses, yeah, 1, 2, 3, exclusively focus on Shraddha. 4 to 6 are about Sadhu Sangha. Yeah. So 1 to 3 is about Shraddha. 4 to 6 is about Sadhu Sangha. Yeah, Adau Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha. Then interestingly, 7th verse itself deals with many stages of bhakti. Yeah. Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Ruchi. All these 3 come in the 7th verse. Then 8th verse deals with Asakti. Yeah. Then 9 to 11 deal with Bhava and Prema. This is how the 9 stages of bhakti appear in each of these texts. So this is how we have seen the key themes of nectar of instruction. And we have also seen the various stages of, yeah. This is the overview of nectar of instruction. Yeah. The first 3 verses deal with Shraddha. Then verses 4 to 6, Sadhu Sangha. 7th verse, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, and Nishtha. Then 8 deals with Asakti, and 9 to 11 with Bhava and Prema. This is the overview of the nectar of instruction. So after, I hope you all got the whole picture of the book, yeah, how it is divided. It has basically 11 verses, and this is how each of these verses are divided into as per the different stages of bhakti or devotion. So what happens, briefly, what are the different stages of bhakti? Yeah, the first 3 verses deals with Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Yeah, so everything begins with faith. Yeah, the fact that all of you all have come here today is because there is certainly the seeds of faith that have been planted in you by good association. Yeah, so you're nurturing it, you're watering that seed by again coming into association. So Shraddha or faith is the foundation of bhakti. And it exists right from the beginning to the end. In fact, the various categories of devotees, the Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, the 3 are classified based on the level of their faith. Yeah, Shraddha. So Sadhu Sangha is the association. So the most important anga, it's one of the 5 potent forms of devotional service, is association. Yes, there's one of his famous quotes, Srila Prabhupada says, if somebody thinks they can make spiritual advancement without devotees association, then such a person is insane. Yeah. So none of us can make actual advancement in bhakti without association of devotees. So 4 to 6, these 3 verses deal with association. Yeah, Sadhu Sangha. Then Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means that is the whatever sadhana that you are performing right now. And there's a beautiful description in the Madhurya Kadambini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura about this whole Bhajana Kriya. Very interesting. Maybe someday I will cover this also. So after Bhajana Kriya, there comes Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti. What is Anartha Nivritti? Means it is clearing stage. Yeah, the clearing stage of all of our impurities in the heart. Yeah, that have been hanging on for birth and births and births and births. All the homework, the internal homework that we have to do. Yes, is to clear these anarthas. Yeah, sometimes, depending upon the attitude of the devotees, This anartha nivriti can go on for years, if not years, for lifetimes. Yeah. It's a very long and lengthy process. And it depends so much on the sincerity of the devotee, on the attitude of the devotee. Yeah. So, and anartha nivriti is the clearing stage where all the anarthas in the heart, that is the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, whatever is, all those impediments on the path. What is anartha? Artha means that which is beneficial. Anartha, that is impediment, that is an obstacle. Yes, that is anartha nivritti. So once that anartha nivritti stage is crossed over, that's when a person's faith becomes fixed. Yeah. Until then, it's wavering. That is, a person is, if he's high up sometimes he cannot sustain, he cannot hold the enthusiasm. Sometimes they're enthusiastic, sometimes they're very dull. The practice of sadhana is, high and low, high and low, high and low. That means they're not fixed up. But once the anartha nivritti is crossed, person becomes fixed up. Tesham antagatam papam janaro punya karmana te bandha moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha vrata. Bhagavad Gita says, Tesham antagatam papam, those whose sinful reactions have been nullified, have been completed. Tesham antagatam papam, all whose papam, whose all sins are eradicated. Te bandha moha nirmukta, those people without any, by overcoming dualities. Bhajante mam dridha vrata, with determination, they perform devotional service. That is becoming fixed. So once one is cleared of this stage of anartha nivritti, one becomes fixed up. That fixed up stage is called nishtha. So there is nobody can move until now, like it's like a banana tree and a banyan tree. So a banana tree, yes, it's there, it's a tree. But if you firmly shake it, it falls down, right? So until anartha nivritti, our faith is like that. Firmly shaken, gone. But once a person reaches the stage of nishtha, it's like a banyan tree, no matter how hard you shake it, it's very firm. It's nothing can move. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was born into a family of asuras, demons. There's everybody, except him was a atheist and demoniac. And everybody is telling him to give up the name of Lord Hari. But he stood strong. Nothing could shake his faith in Lord Vishnu. Nothing could stop him from chanting the holy names of Krishna. Why? He's a firmly fixed up devotee. So this is nishtha. So, after nishtha comes ruchi. So how does this taste develops? So once you understood that, processes, like for example, when you understand a process is working with you, then you develop more and more faith in it, right? Then you stick to the process more and more. So that's how you are into what is called nishtha. You develop more and more faith. So then, by the mercy of Krishna, then Krishna gives something called taste. So once you get the taste, the rest follows. You become firmly attached to the process. Then nothing else. As much as we like sense gratification right now, that much we are so attached to the process of bhakti. That is asakti. Asakti means attachment, thorough attachment to the process. So after that attachment comes the higher stages of bhava. Bhava means development of spiritual emotions. Which are so different from the material emotion. And then the final stage of prema. So this bhava and prema we come across in 9th and 11th verses. So Nectar of Instruction is a nectarian book. So all the stages of bhakti are presented through this entire book. It's an ocean of devotion in itself. So it's so important for us to follow and truly understand this message in the book, because only then we will be able to attain the cherished goal of bhakti. In Gita, we understood the goal is to attain bhakti. Yeah. Through the process of bhakti, one can attain Krishna. But how to actually perform that bhakti? Srila Prabhupada said one should follow in the footsteps of the Shadgurus Acharyas. So what does that mean, to follow in their footsteps? To follow their instructions. And what are those instructions? That is given exactly in the Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. So as in the book, in the preface, so let's go through the preface. Can you show the text? It's a very short preface. I think we can cover the entire preface today, and we will start with the verse number 1 from next week onwards. Yeah. So the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is written by Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very important for us to enter into the mood of the book through, entering into the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. So Prabhupada is writing here that the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted in the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So Prabhupada, he's always connecting to the Guru Parampara. When Prabhupada has written this book, he was in a stage where he actually, he was, he went to the West as a one-man army. From then he became, many, many disciples he has cultivated. And later, there was massive success, that Srila Prabhupada has seen. In fact, the entire Krishna consciousness movement, the Hare Krishna movement that Srila Prabhupada has started, it is something that had no precedent in the history. Yeah, nothing has ever happened the way it happened when Srila Prabhupada has begun the whole movement. But at every point of time, he has never taken the credit for what he has done. So beautifully visible, the very first line of the preface, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Yeah. So he's very much connected to the mercy of the Acharyas. And it speaks about his profound humility and his own connection to the Guru Parampara. And this is the mood that each of us have to imbibe to enter into the Bhakti Shastras. Especially Bhakti Shastras are accessible only through the right attitude. Yeah. Bhagavad Gita is Aishwarya Gyan, but the Bhakti Shastras, if you have to enter into it, it's purely by the mercy which we access through our humility. Yeah. So, the next line, Prabhupada says, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are the direct disciples. So there's something about the history of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna has appeared, and then he has given the essence of Vedic literature in the form of Gita, Gita Upanishad. So after that, the Kali Yuga has begun, and the Kali Yuga has gone through so many different phases, and after which there was the Advaita philosophy, which has been propounded by Adi Shankaracharya. Yeah, and later on, he came in at a point of time to drive away the Buddhists. Yeah, the Kali Yuga started, and then there was the Brahmanas. There was a lot of animal slaughter that was happening by misinterpretation of the Vedas. And to stop such misinterpretation of the Vedic literature, then the Lord descended as Buddha with the purpose of directing people away from the Vedas for the purpose of stopping animal slaughter. And then to re-establish the position of the Vedas, Adi Shankaracharya has descended, and he propounded the Dvaita philosophy. I'm sorry, the Advaita philosophy. Yeah. And after Adi Shankaracharya, it was later on the Visishta Advaita has been propounded by Sri Ramanujacharya. And there was the Dvaitavad, which is propounded by Madhvacharya. Then after that, just 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he has given us the philosophy of the Achintya Veda Vedanta. Yeah, and it's the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference. So basically, the philosophy establishes the supremacy of bhakti. The bhakti tradition has been revived and reestablished by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct disciples are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered each of the Goswamis to perform great service, great missionary activities. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have accomplished everything on his own, but the Lord always empowers his associates to perform various services. Similarly, he has directly instructed the 6 Goswamis to execute 4 main instructions. So what were these 4 main instructions that were given to the Shad Goswamis? So number 1 is to build temples of where the worship of Radha Krishna is going. So recently, I think most of us have visited Vrindavan, where we see the temples of Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govindaji, Radha Gopinathji, Radha Raman, Radha Gokulananda, all these beautiful temples. Why and how they were built? They happened by the desire, by the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. The second instruction is to re-excavate the lost places of Vrindavan. Yeah, there were so many places, Leela Sthalis in Vrindavan, which were lost to the human access. So Mahaprabhu has instructed the Shad Goswamis to re-establish all these holy sites, Vrindavan. Then third instruction that Mahaprabhu has given the Shad Goswami are to write books. Yeah, to write books. So what kind of books? There are 2 types of books that Mahaprabhu has instructed the Shad Goswamis to write. The first type of books are those which establish the Siddhanta. And the second type of books are which speak about the Sadachara. Yeah. Siddhanta means which establish the doctrine. Yeah, the Vaishnava Siddhanta. The second type of books are those which establish the Sadachara. That means how to practice, how to put things in action. And the fourth instruction that was given by Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, is that practicing pure devotional service. Yeah, so this was, to exemplify pure devotional service. So these were the 4 instructions that were given. Yeah, one is to, I repeat, one is to construct temples for the worship of the deities of Radha and Krishna, to re-excavate the holy sites of Vrindavan. Third is to write books and literature, which speaks about the Vaishnava Siddhanta and Sadachara. And fourth is to exemplify pure devotional service. So these 4 were the instructions that were been given to the Shad Goswamis. So, so this is exactly what, even if you see, Srila Prabhupada has also done, in his mission. So every time Prabhupada has built temples, said that it was like, imagine what is building a temple or a center of Krishna's conscious activities. That means a part of this entire earth has been, conquered of Maya. Yeah, that's a temple. And every time Prabhupada used to finish a book, he used to say, it is like I have actually conquered an empire. Yeah. So what does Prabhupada mean by this? Conquering an empire means like it's an empire of thought. You're actually influencing the whole thought process of an individual. Yeah. And every person who reads the book is getting so transformed. Their entire perceptual space has been transformed to the different level, to the spiritual world. Yeah, that's the power of one book. The Srila Prabhupada used to say, every time I write a book, I feel that I have conquered an empire. So it's so important to distribute the books, read and distribute the books of Srila Prabhupada. And what's the third thing? Like how many people are becoming devotees? This was also what was one of the major focuses of Srila Prabhupada. The number of temples built, books that are written, and third is number of people taking up to devotion and practicing devotional life. Yeah, so these three are the main focuses and purposes of this one. So actually, if you see the work, the books written by the Shad Goswami Acharyas, they have very systematically presented the mood and mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, there's a lot of literature in the Gaudiya Vaishnava area. That is like many, there are many books that are directly in relation with the biography or leelas of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like the Chaitanya Bhagavat, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. Yeah. But the works of the Shad Goswamis, yeah, they are very unique in that they systematically establish the mood and mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, very systematically. Like for example, like they establish a Siddhanta. Like for example, it's not directly the pastimes, but it's the philosophy, it's the Siddhanta behind. Like for example, the beautiful book of Brihad Bhagavan written by Sanatan Goswami. It speaks about the whole journey of the Gopa Kumara. Yeah, though it speaks about the journey of the Gopa Kumara through the different realms, its main Siddhanta or the final goal of the book is to establish the supremacy of Goloka Vrindavan. So in that way, the works of the Shad Goswamis are very unique in it that they are systematic presentations of the Siddhanta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yeah, of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So that's a uniqueness of these books. So, so one of the disciples of Srila Jiva Goswami, yeah, is Narottam Das Thakur. So he sings this beautiful song. So he's saying that when I'm eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So this is a prayer to the Goswamis saying that understanding what does it mean to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Yeah. So this is explained in the next line. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the signs of Krishna. So what is like Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhaya? Yeah, Lord Chaitanya has appeared to bestow freely the love of Krishna to everyone, to give everyone the signs of Krishna. So what is the signs of Krishna? How do we understand the signs of Krishna? The signs of Krishna is understood through the activities of his devotees. And who are the best of his devotees? The best of his devotees are the gopis of Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radhe. And though he is Lord Krishna, yeah. And Srimati Radharani is assisted by gopis. And the gopis are assisted by another group called the Manjaris. Yeah. So Srimati Radharani and her immediate associates are called the Sakhis, and their assistants are called the Manjaris. So there's a very beautiful description of this in a beautiful book called the Ujjvala Radhe. This is also a book written by Srila Rupa Goswami, who are the different categories of the Sakhis and the Manjaris, their names, their activities. Very, very amazing, beautiful book. Yeah. It's a very little It's an elevated book, but it's it's an amazing book. So, yeah, so they're the most exalted devotees. And Srila Rupa Goswami is none other than Rupa Manjari, who's actually direct servant of Lalita Sakhi, who is the direct associate of Srimati Radharani. Yeah. So to follow in the footsteps. So, and he specifically, when he when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is when Lord Krishna himself has descended, yeah, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, then along with him, all his associates, all the Sakhis of Srimati Radharani have also descended as various associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, like Sri Lalita Sakhi has become the associate called Swarup Damodar, and Vishaka Sakhi as Ramananda Rai. So there is a beautiful description of this in the book Gaura Ganodesha Deepika. Yeah, who is which associate in the Krishna Lila. Yeah. So in that way, Srila Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari, the intimate associate of Srimati Radharani. So, and he has descended and to execute the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, yeah, please go down. Yes, so Srila Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadeshamrita to follow. So just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has left behind the 8 verses known as Sikshaštaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upadeshamrita so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. So this is exclusively for practicing the process of devotion to its perfection. So basically, we all assume that devotion is some kind of a sentiment. It is just some kind of a feeling or an emotion. No, bhakti is a science. It is a process. And when it is executed according to the Shastras, then the result is ascertained. It is definite. It is not some kind of a concoction. It is not some kind of a mental concoction. So bhakti is a yoga. It's a scientific process. And when it is executed according to its rules and regulations as given by the authority, then the result is guaranteed. Just like when you're performing an experiment in your physics, let's say, yeah, you perform the experiment as per the given directions. Yeah, and you repeat the experiment, you'll get the result exactly as it is stated in the book. Right? Why? Because it's an authentic process. Similarly, bhakti is also a scientific and authentic process. And when it is executed according to the directions of the authority, who is authorized by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, then the result is guaranteed. So many people are so confused. We all understand that bhakti is the ultimate process to reach the ultimate goal. But how to actually perform this bhakti? This is given in the Nectar of Instruction. So in all spiritual affairs, one's first duty, now coming into the actual essence. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. Okay, so we will come to this again. So first of all, sense and mind control. So why is it so important? Yeah. First duty is to control his mind and senses. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpara. Vashendriya yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Yeah. So one whose senses are in control, vashendriya yasyendriyani, whose senses are in one's control. Tasya prajna pratishtita. That person's intelligence is fixed. And such a person is called a matpara, devotee. Also, raga dvesha vimukteschu vishayan indriyaischaran atma vasher videyatma prasadha adhigacchati. The way to achieve the mercy of the Lord is by regulation and control of one's senses. This is Krishna stating in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Raga Dvesha Vimukhtaistu Indriyan Vishayascharan. Atma Vashya Videyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. Who will receive mercy? The one who giving up Raga and Dvesha, that means excessive attachment or excessive hatred. Yeah. So overcoming these two dualities, one who regulates and controls one's senses, such a person is actually eligible to receive my mercy. Yeah. So there's a beautiful saying that the Lord in Bhagavatam, there's this beautiful statement. The Lord is conquered by the love of a devotee who has conquered his senses. Very important. The Lord is conquered by the love of his devotee who has conquered his senses. So that is why Prabhupada is writing, one's first duty is to control mind and senses. So this might sound a little threatening, but it's very important. And in fact, once practiced, the amount of freedom it gives a person and the taste and the ease with which one can advance in bhakti, it no longer becomes an obligation. It becomes a voluntary adaptation. Yeah. So it's very, very important. One's first duty is to control mind and senses. Like, for example, all of you are every day, like we have this 21 days marathon. Yeah, challenge to wake up 4:30 to 6:30, and from 4:30 to 6:30 to do japa. I see some of you waking up so ecstatically chanting Kavya, Shravya, Jyotsna, and all of you, Jyoti. So when I see you, you're so absorbed in chanting. Initially, it might have been a little difficult to wake up, so early in the morning and then take a fresh bath and put tilak and sit in front of a laptop and start chanting. Yeah, it might be a tapasya in the beginning, but it's so blissful. I mean, I'd like to know your genuine opinion, how you're feeling at the end of the japa session. But you actually sit at one place and in Brahma Muhurta you have completed your chanting. Such an amazing experience. So, from our side, we begin with controlling our mind and senses and practicing bhakti, and Krishna gives so much more. So unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Yeah. So Prabhupada once said, if you do not complete your 16 rounds before 10 o'clock in the morning, you're in Maya. Yeah. So Prabhupada is very clear about it. So it is like we have heard this story, right? There is a boat and there is this bridegroom party which is wanting to go to the other side of the river. Yeah, but no matter how much they are rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing, the whole night they were rowing. So they thought by next morning they will reach the other side of the shore. But when there was sunrise, they realized that they are on this side of the shore. They didn't move an inch. So when they saw what has happened, they understood that they did not remove the anchor. Yeah, the anchor was fixed to the bank. So this is how this anchor represents our material attachments. This anchor represents our taste for material pleasures. So unless we remove this anchor that is so firmly fixed, we cannot make any progress. Yeah. So the next point that Prabhupada is speaking about is one must promote himself to the platform of goodness, sattva guna. So the sattva guna is very, very important platform. So one can have a clear conscience, clear thinking, a regulated way of life only by being on the Shuddha platform, sattva guna platform. Like, for example, there is the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. The instructions are all there, but how do we apply them in our life? Yeah. But for that, sometimes we may approach a mentor, but sometimes we have to depend on our own discretion. And how does the discretion comes? How do we hear our inner voice to make the right decision? That clear conscience and that access to the inner voice comes in a sattva guna, in the mode of goodness. So it's very, very important to be in the mode of goodness to actually make progress. tangible progress, sustainable progress. Yeah. So Sattva Guna, Evam Prasanna Manaso, Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Tada Rajastamo Bhava, Kama Lobhadayaschaye, Chetayete, Anavritim, Sthitam Sattve Prasidati. So this whole sequence of verses that Bhagavatam speaks about, yeah, how by the process of hearing about Krishna regularly, Bhagavatam, how the Rajas and Tamas goes away and the Sattva Guna manifests in a person. Sattva Guna is beautiful, it is amazing. It's full of happiness, satisfaction, no confusion, no, there are two extremes. What are these? Hankering and lamentations. Yeah, oftentimes we see all, all the cases of psychology fall under these two things, hankerings and lamentations. Either they hanker for things that are not achieved or lamentations for the past. Hankering about the future, lamentation of the past. So all these are Rajas and Tamas. What is Sattva? Satisfaction. Sattva is knowledge. Sattva is being situated in the mode of goodness, yeah, which is illuminating, which is joyful, which is happiness. So this Sattva Guna is like a springboard from which one can transcend the three modes of material nature. So we'll just conclude with this last verse. Advancement, yeah, this is a very, very important line. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Yeah. So basically, what does it mean, attitude? Yeah, attitude is a very, very popular term, right? So what is this attitude? For example, let's say we say mind control and sense control is very, very difficult. Yes, it's very difficult. It's difficult for everybody. It's not just that it's difficult for some, or for some it's a cakewalk. No, it's difficult for everyone. But someone says that, yes, it's difficult, but I'm determined that I'm going to do my best. Yes, it's difficult to wake up early in the morning, but I'm determined to wake up and chant quality rounds. I really want to. I don't have the taste, but every day I will somehow hear Bhagavatam. I will at least read one page of Bhagavatam. I will do my part to develop that taste. I feel like sleeping, no, but I will stand up and chant my rounds. This is determination. This is attitude. So based on that attitude, advancement in Krishna consciousness is directly manifests. They're directly proportional. Yeah, the same process is given to all, but why and how somebody makes more advancement, it's because of one's attitude. Yeah. So a follower of Krishna consciousness should become perfect Goswami. What is the meaning of Goswami? Go means senses. Swami means one who has mastered the senses. Yeah. So, so unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. Yeah. So to achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, so that's the purpose of the book Upadeshamrita, because it gives guidelines or instructions that lead us, that train us on the path of bhakti, make us fixed up on the path of bhakti. Yeah, that makes us Goswamis. The Prabhupada further writes that Rupa Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we are going to do after this, after this Upanishad. Then there are beautiful books called Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Very amazing novels. They are, novels in the sense, the dramas actually, literally dramas. I cannot describe what they're like. They're superlative word of Srila Rupa Goswami. Yeah. But Upadesham, but they're all advanced books. Prabhupada writes, Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. For all of us. Yeah. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Yeah, then the last line says, then it will be easier to make one's life successful. This is what Prabhupada says. Hare Krishna. So this is what is Upadeshamrita, the book, The Nectar of Instruction. So all of you, I would highly suggest that please buy this book if you have, or you can also access this on the Veda base. Today I have just done the preface to the book. And from tomorrow onwards, from the next session onwards, we are going to do the 11 texts. Yeah, they're altogether 11 texts. Each text probably we will complete in one session or two. Yeah. And if you can, please buy this book. And as it is, as Prabhupada is saying, so if we can seriously and sincerely follow these instructions that have been given in this book, then our path of bhakti becomes very easy. Yeah. So it is not so easy. Once one disciple went and asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, he said bhakti is very, very simple. Yeah. But we are struggling so much. Yeah, every day it's such a struggle with the mind. He said it's so simple. Then Prabhupada said, I said it is simple, but I didn't say it is easy. Right? So being simple is different from being easy. Bhakti is a process which is simple. It is simple for the simple-hearted. But being associated with the three modes of material nature since a long, long time, with this complex material world for a long, long time, we are so far away from simplicity of heart. We have just developed so many complexities. So simply by following these instructions that are given in the book Nectar of Instruction, we will make our path easy and our goal more easily achievable and attainable. Thank you very much. I will end here. So today we have done the preface of the book, The Nectar of Instruction. For the next section onwards, we will enter into the texts. Any question? I can take one or two. Any question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Jyotsna. Yes. Tell me.
Mataji, can I ask question from Gita? Only
Yes.
one question.
Yeah.
It is said that we have Nitya Dharma and Naimittika Dharma, Mataji, Dharma of soul and Dharma of body. And when it is concerned with Dharma of body, we are having Dharma of, Varna and Ashrama Dharmas. For a woman, Ashrama Dharma is Grihastha as we all know. But what about Varna Dharma, Mataji? As like men, are we not having any Varna Dharma?
Yes. So it's a very sensitive and important question that you have asked. Certainly women also have Varna, and they have their Varna Dharma also, because it is very natural that women are naturally inclined towards certain activities, right? Some women are naturally inclined for book reading. Some are more inclined towards administration. Some women are more inclined towards business activities. Yeah. And some women can just take orders and execute them. So Varna is definitely there for women too. It so happens that women, when they're married, they serve, one of the Sri Dharma is to serve the husband, right? So when you're serving the husband, and it is but natural that you assist your husband in his duties, right? Like if the husband is, let's say, a king, so you're assisting in that way. So a woman naturally, takes on that Varna because of the constant association and constant service. Yeah. But as such, women do have their own Varnas, and they do execute their duties according to their Varna. Yeah. But the thing is, so women generally have overwhelming duties once, especially post-marriage. the duties and responsibilities of taking care of the family, taking care of the children. Yeah, because the body and the psychophysical nature of the woman is such that she gives so much of care and love very naturally to her family beings. Yeah, and to her family and to her dependents. So most of the time, the ashrama dharma takes over. Yeah, the life of a woman. Yeah. For family, because family is so much dependent on her, yeah, her nurturing nature. So apart from that, of course, history also has the reference of women who also excelled in their varnas. Yeah. Like for example, we see that there are queens of Lord Krishna, like Satyabhama. Sometimes also once when Krishna went for a fight, a war with Banasura, Bhaumasura, yeah. So he also took Satyabhama along with, or Narakasura, the famous pastime. And that time Satyabhama also fought. That means they were trained in their work. The queens of Lord Krishna. So women do have Varna and they receive the training right from childhood as per their work as well. But thing is, but we rarely see that women are predominantly playing the role of Varna because their ashrama dharma is very overwhelming. Yeah, like for example, Satyabhama came on the battle and fought only once. It was just once a while. Yeah, because generally you see men on the battle, or women on the battle. That's how it is. They're trained in their Varna. Varna dharma is also, it comes into picture in rare cases. Yeah, but they do have Varna, nothing like they don't have Varna. Of course, psychophysical nature is there for men and women as well. But the expression is different because men have the responsibility, the Purusha dharma is a breadwinner. Yeah, is to take care of the family, where his Varna is more expressed. Yeah, because of the need. And women's ashrama dharma is more expressed than the Varna dharma. Because that's what is that's how the family runs, right? The family runs by male performing the duty of the prescribed duty of the Varna, breadwinning part. And the woman is performing more of an ashrama dharma, taking care of the children. That's how it's predominant. You see both. For that matter, husband, man also takes care of the family. Woman also expresses her dharma, but proportion wise, that's more. Varna dharma is more expressed in men, and ashrama dharma is more expressed in women. Yes. Could I shed some light on your question, Jyotsna?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hari Bol. Very thoughtful question. Any other? Okay. Thank you all very much. So we will meet. Yeah, you can stop the recording.